Okay. What are we talking about tonight, Brian? Whoa. What do you think that means? On the spot.
I'm gonna pass it to Patrick.
You gonna pass it, Patrick?
Yeah.
Patrick, what? With the title worth it, what do you think we're talking about?
How we're worthy of God. Or what something.
Those are fair.
God's worth it.
Fair, yeah. Okay, all those are fair. I guess we have to get into it to reveal the secret. I'm gonna give Ricky a chance though first. Ricky, what you think? Meaning? Oh, okay. Okay.
I always say that because it says work is 3 times.
Worth is
We're
worth
trying to
is
think,
no.
we're trying to find the definition of work.
Leave it to Ricky to get spiritual on us. So I did want to continue in the same, which I think I say I wanted to, but I feel like it was more like kind of like God confirmed to me. Obviously, a lot of things happened within the past week, but I feel like it came to the point. I don't even know if Jeremy's done with his the I Am series yet. I'm not sure.
There's one more.
Right? I think
He was
there's.
supposed to do it last week, but.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I think there's one more. But either way, which I hope I don't. I hope I'm not. Hopefully I'm not taking a message from you. But this message that God put on my heart really does line up with what we've been talking about in this series. And I'm not gonna steal Jeremy's trademark Photoshop symbol thing and say it's part of the I Am series, but it does definitely fall in line with what he's been talking about, and hopefully it's not stealing what he's going to talk about next week. But it is what it is. We'll see what happens. First off, before we get into talking a little bit worth, to kind of give us a segue, I've got a little video because everyone likes videos.
Why would anything be wrong? I'm totally fine. I'm totally not nervous. Your eyes.
I'm a strong one. I'm not nervous. I'm as tough as the crust of the earth is.
Okay.
I'm as mountains. I'm as
It
churches.
is.
I'm
I need to watch it.
this.
Oh, you're missing out.
Hey, where you going? I don't ask how hard the work is. But rough and destructive the surface. Diamonds and platinum. Final platinum. I'll take what I'm handed. I'll break what's demanded. Under the surface, I feel the circus. A tightrope walker in a 3-ring circus. Under the surface, was Hercules.
Look at
What? I'm pretty sure I'm worth it if I can be a circus.
Okay, I'm gonna watch No, okay. That, yeah.
What?
We don't talk about Bruno. You would know if you watched it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've been busy, with school.
I had to watch it the second time because I understood it.
said you should do a Taylor Swift sermon.
Yeah, there's like 9 different eras you can use.
Oh my jeez.
Is there another song?
This was a nice song
Does there
about
need to be?
generational
Yes.
trauma.
No.
Start off with that.
There's not another song.
Did you hear what he
Can you
said?
do one on the Bruno song? I feel like this should be a whole
Yes,
series
we
at
need
this point.
I identify with Bruno personally.
Yes.
Did you didn't hear what he said?
It's a nice song and movie about generational trauma to kick off the.
The
sermon.
message?
It is. It's a kids movie about generational trauma.
Look at
Oh, that Encanto?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Every character represents a part in a dysfunctional family.
Yeah,
Flowers?
fairly true. Yeah, definitely, definitely. Anyway, so talking about worth it. I wanted to kick it off with that video because it's interesting. One point to see at the beginning of the song, Luisa mentions how she knows what her worth is. However, the entire rest of the song seems to be like everything that she feels like she has to do or what it takes to kind of maintain that worth. So, with this message, worth it, we're going to talk a little bit about what worth is, what worth means to us, how we should view and how we should understand worth. It's going to be a simple message. It'll hopefully be I need this to work. It'll hopefully be a pretty quick message, but it is also a very important message for us to understand, just as far as ourselves, our identity in Christ, and who God is to us as well. Because worth has to do with every single bit of that. So first, worth is, in one way, simply put as value. Your worth or worth in general, right? Doesn't have to be personal, but worth in general pertains to value. How much something is valued at, how much something can be presented for, how much something could be exchanged for, how much something could be viewed as, what category something falls into. It all comes down to segments of value. Worth and value are very similar. The only difference is value is, I would say value is a little bit more of the application of worth, right? Worth is more sedimentary, worth is more cement, whereas the value is kind of the application, like what you're gonna do with that worth, with the inherent worth of an object, of a person, of whatever. Value then comes in, and that's how it is exchanged, utilized, put into motion. But worth is value. So, on that note, Hebrews 10:11 says, "Every priest stands daily ministering and offering time after time the sacrifices which can never take away sins. But he, having offered his sacrifice for sins for all time, sat down at the right hand of God, waiting from that time onward until his enemies be made a footstool for his feet. For by one offering he has perfected for all time those who are sanctified." So obviously that's, if you haven't put it together, that is talking about Jesus, his sacrifice on the cross. If you don't understand, in the Old Testament, which I think we all do, but they offered sacrifices, right? Things of worth, things of value that they would sacrifice, that they would give up. Again, that's where the value comes in, that exchange of said worth for a forgiveness of sins, for a penance for sins, for putting the value or the cost with said actions. We talked about before, like actions have consequences, and in the Old Testament, that was put in, dots and letters. You did this thing, this action, this consequence. Now because that has this cost, you have to pay something that is worth this value, sacrifice it in order to offset what has been done. That was how they operated. That was how they understood the weight or the consequences of sin. And that's how they would pay penance. But of course, when Christ came, his worth and his value is unmatchable, is unreachable, to the point to where he paid the value, he paid the worth for every single one of our sins, for everything that we would do, could do. He gave us forgiveness. Now, obviously, on a side note, we know that that's something that we have to accept. That's something that we have to take in. That's something where we have to accept Christ and enter into relationship with him in order to have access to said sacrifice, value, worth, and forgiveness. But he already paid it. He already offered it. All there is for us to do is say, yes, the value, the money has been paid, the value is there, the worth is there. Sign the contract, and I'm a part of it. And that's kind of how that works. But that talks a little bit about Christ's worth. His worth that he offered up was that to where it would pay the value for everything that we would ever come across, for everything that we would ever do, for every mistake that we would ever make. His worth paid the value of all of that for us. Now, worth is given. Anytime anything has worth, it's always given. Nothing just has worth. Someone, somewhere, at some point in time, has to say, hey, this has worth, right? At some point in time, like, okay, so gold, right? We all think about gold. Gold is a mineral. Gold is a rock. Gold comes from the earth. Why is gold now valuable and used for a currency of exchange and money? Go ahead and answer.
Oh, because there's a minimum supply, and so as that supply dwindles and goes to other people, the value increases, and economics happens, and fun stuff like that.
Like inflation and all
Yeah.
that good stuff.
True. And because
Somebody put worth on it. Someone said this is worth a lot of money.
someone at some point in time identified, because even if, like, there's a lot of things that are in short supply in the world, but someone at some point in time identified that this mineral, this element, this can be used for something, and it's hard to find, it's strenuous to uncover, there's not a large supply of it, or there's a limited supply of it on the earth, so this must have worth. And then worth was given. Also, every type of currency that we have is given worth. You know, dollar bills, change, it's all given worth. The worth was all given to them. Even now we have even cryptocurrency, which is digital. You know, it's not like really, if you look at it, it's not even there, it's not even a thing. But we said, no, that has worth. So it's given worth. So worth is always given. Colossians 1:11 says, being strengthened with all power according to his glorious might, so that you may have great endurance and patience, and giving joyful thanks to your Father who has qualified you to share in the inheritance of his holy people in the kingdom of light. For he has rescued us from the dominion of darkness and brought us into the kingdom of the Son he loves, in whom we have redemption and the forgiveness of sins. Worth is also lasting. So back on that, well, actually, no, I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, worth is lasting, which means when something is given worth, that worth continues. That worth goes on. For instance, talked about gold, right? Limited quantity, someone gave gold worth, and then Patrick talked about economics and the limited quantity of gold and how it changes and so on. But ever since whoever, like, I would be, you know, somewhat interested to know, like, who at whatever point in time way back in history it probably can't even be tracked because it was probably close to the Stone Age. But whoever gave gold worth, however many incalculable years ago, gold still has worth. Worth is still lasting. Gold, which has been around since pretty much the beginning of time, since God created the earth. As soon as He made the earth, that includes all the minerals and elements that were in there, so that means gold was there. And then someone gave it worth, and then that worth is lasting. Anything that has worth is lasting. Any action also that has worth is also lasting. Anything you do that has worth, anything you say that has worth, that creates an impact, and that took too long,
Sorry.
is lasting. Worth continues on. It keeps going. It outlives everything that's around it. Whatever. Usually anything that's of worth will pretty much always, inherently, its worth will last and outlive whatever it was used in exchange for. Right? Because like we even think about, so like gold money, things like that, we use it for even like food. Let's use that as a simple example. We exchange these things, these currencies that have worth, that have value, and they're lasting, and we exchange them for food, which is used up, utilized for whatever purpose it has, and then is discarded or wasted or whatever have you. But the currency that had that worth that was exchanged for it, its value is still lasting. So, who wants $5?
I do. Please.
Don't want money.
I need. Please.
I love
Please.
money. Come on.
Please.
he said, no, I don't trust it.
As long as I don't have to
No,
like.
I just prefer to
Are you gonna like crumble it and
I-
stuff
I-
on it, and
I-
it's gonna show how much it still is?
I know Patrick was gonna second guess himself immediately.
No,
Please.
I'm trying to figure out which one of you-
I don't do cash.
I really need this.
You
The last time she got it when Jeremy did it.
You did it like no, it was me. It was like 3.5 years ago that I used this illustration, and you did it last time, so you get it this time.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry that it's not $20, but
It's okay. Anything helps at this point.
Max is broke. So what is this?
That's fine.
Say for the camera. $5, right?
Yes.
Well, now I don't know.
Patrick, just hush.
It's worth what?
$5.
$5. Okay, it's worth $5. What old is it? What's it worth?
$1.
Okay.
She's gonna keep folding it. It's still worth
Are you gonna
$5.
step on
Folded it twice.
$5.
It's worth $5? Okay, that's cool. So I mean, it's still like, even though I folded it, did stuff with it, it's $5. What about,
I thought you were
Flat
doing
iron.
it.
what is that?
$5.
So what, now, notice this. Does this look like the $5 that I presented to you at first?
No.
No, it looks completely different. It's
Okay.
clearly been through something. But what is this, where's this worth?
It's still worth $5.
$5. Okay, so what
Oh my god.
What about, okay, so now there's like dirt and grime down there in the carpet, and it's stepped on, and so now it not only looks different, but now it's like dirty and stuff, right? So it's been intruded upon with some other stuff. So now what's it worth?
$5.
It's $5. Okay, I get it. So it's still worth $5. Okay, so now,
Oh.
oh man, that's now it's like dripping. I don't know if you can see from the camera, but it's dripping now.
Keep that
It's
away.
US law, as long as you don't rip it out.
it is.
You can take that back up. I've done it before.
It's dripping, and it's so now it's completely wet. It has changed. So now,
I don't think you did that.
not only does it not look the same, right? Not only is it a different
Why are you
shape,
still touching it?
not only does it have like
Don't do
dirt
that.
and grime all over it, not only has it been walked on and stepped upon and trampled, But it's also now it's been in water. Now it's been soaked.
That's
now
water?
it's actually tea.
Oh my god.
So
Why would you put it in tea? It's a whole bottle of water on the table.
so now it even feels different. So this $5 bill has been through so much
I feel
that-
like money.
that it looks different. It's shaped different. It has been through different things. It has different things and elements and Lord knows what on it. Right? So everything, pretty much everything about it practically has changed. Like it's been through the ringer, it's been drowned, it's been stepped on, it's been trampled upon, it's been thrown outcast from all of its other currency brethren, and set to be just smushed. Right? So what is it worth?
$5.
What the heck? I want you to do a paper towel. I can't do that.
$5.
I just hit it with her hair. I don't think that you didn't put it in a drink the last time.
That was so over dramatized. We got the point when you folded it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't remember that. You didn't do that the last time.
Gosh, I'm gonna do this at home.
So why do we think our worth changes when we go through stuff? Why do we think?
Because a lot, because humans aren't the same as.
I don't think my worth.
Patrick, we don't need the logical reason.
So does our worth change though?
Yeah.
Just because we've been through stuff, just because life has
The only
drowned us and trampled upon us and cast us aside, does our value change?
No, but the reason we feel like that is because either like we're guilty or we feel really weak, and so we're just like, dang man, I'm just not good enough anymore. I'm not the same. I don't think about myself like that now.
It could be, or it could be another way to look at it. Not saying that's wrong. That's how the mind works. But could it also be that maybe we don't really understand where our worth comes from, where our value comes from, like what we are, what we're created as, who we've been created to be? Because I mean, like that. So even without being like trampled upon and everything, that $5 bill, right? You can take that to an indigenous tribe in Africa and present your glorious $5 bill. I'm like, what's that? That has no meaning. That has no meaning to me. I don't see any worth. I don't see any value in that because it's paper. It's colored paper. But what they don't understand is that has value. That has worth. I collect a lot of things because I'm a nerd. I collect I have my pop figures and stuff.
I love coffee.
So like there's pop figures that I have, my little collectibles, and someone can look at them and see, and then they can maybe they see it in Walmart or something else, and they'd be like, oh, that's cool, and it's like, so is that so that's worth $10, right? With that particular pop figure because of when it was made, how it was made, where it was released, even though it looks the same on the outside as one you could buy at Walmart for $10, well, that one's valued at $200.
My cousin has a collection that's worth 1,200.
1,200. That's such a specific number.
100.
Mine is. I've almost crossed the mark. My collection is 1,982,
Dang, man.
which is frustrating.
Like,
You
I
have a
need
lot.
that.
Them.
Huh?
I need
You
those.
have a lot.
I need
I
those
I remember
$18.
you looking at.
He needs those $18.
Have the whole office crew.
I do have the whole office group.
He has
Alright.
everything.
Anyway, but
That's a lot.
just because something has been trampled upon, thrown in nasty old sweet tea, been crumpled. Oh, gotcha. Doesn't mean that its worth has changed, right? Because like we said, worth is lasting. The same thing happens to us. Psalms 139, verse 13. For you formed me in my inward parts. You wove me in my mother's womb. I will give you thanks, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works, and my soul knows it very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in secret and skillfully wrought in the depths of the earth. Your eyes have seen my unformed substance, and in your book were all written the days that were ordained for me, when as yet there was none of them. So God knew us, gave us our worth, because right worth is given, before we were even formed. He knew who we were, He knew what we were going to be, and He gave us our worth. He called us worthy right there from the get-go, before even we were created, before even the beginning of time, as Scripture spells out. And that is lasting, cannot be changed. So you have to know your worth because of what it means, because it was given by the Father, because it was given at creation, because it carries value, because it can't be changed, because no one can take that away from you. Yes.
You didn't mention how worth has like a set amount.
Worth does have a set amount, yes. And God gave us said set amount. I didn't mention that.
Other people are worth more than others.
Patrick,
Why do you have to
no.
go?
No, it does not.
Patrick, why you gotta go there? You know we're all worth the same.
It does mean some people have a different purpose than others.
But that doesn't mean they're worth the
As in you being a
My
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu teacher. As
We
Joey,
never
forget
did
that
let
over
us
you.
go.
You were here,
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
You were there, right?
He
Where
wasn't
he did
there.
you weren't there.
Okay.
No, I don't think you
We'll
were
explain
there.
it.
Okay.
But no, just because I have a different purpose than you doesn't mean my purpose is better and I'm worth more than you. We're worth the same.
We all have
What'd you
the
say?
the set amount of worth that God gave us, but that worth again, I mean, I wasn't gonna get all that in depth with it, but certain currency, like I said with the indigenous tribes, certain currencies work in certain places, whereas they weren't work in other places. So even though we have the same worth and the same value, it has different purpose and can be used in different monocles and environments.
Technically,
There's
it
so many
will
ways we
work.
can go with this metaphor.
Technically,
There it
it
is.
could
Patrick,
work,
it's
but you
literally-
have the exchange
let's
rate
just
for
like
U.S.
wrap it up, I
currency to
guess.
their money. But I'm gonna stop talking.
So you have to know your worth.
Sorry.
You have to know your worth. These aren't all in there. If you want to write them down, you can. But knowing your worth means knowing where it comes from, knowing who it was given by, knowing that it is lasting, knowing that no one or nothing or no situation can take that away from you, as we saw from the sad $5 bill. Nothing that was done to it changed the fact that it was a $5 bill and it still had that $5 bill value. 1 Peter 2:9. But you are not like that, for you are a chosen people. You are a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's very own possession. As a result, you can show others the goodness of God, for He called you out of the darkness into His wonderful light. So He has called you worthy. Right? That's where it comes from. That's where
that makes sense with the song.
yeah. He has given you that worth. He has given you that value. Not only has He given it to you, but He has also paid it for you so that you can live that worth out, so that you can live that value out, because He exchanged His worth and His everlasting sacrifice so that the worth that He's given you can then be paid forward, can then be utilized, can then be exchanged, can then be used to make an impact in this world and your environment and the people around you, because you have that worth and no one can take it away because He called you worthy. So you are worth it. The end of the day, coming back to it, after we talked about worth, after we talked about where it can come from, how it's given, how it's utilized, the fact that it lasts, the fact that it cannot be taken away from. At the end of the day, it comes back to you are worth it. You're worth His sacrifice. You're worth His creation. You're worth His destiny. You're worth Him speaking to you. You're worth everything that happened in the world prior to you to bring you into existence. You are worth it. Because God said you are worth it. God said all of these things in human history are going to happen up until this point so that Patrick can enter the world. Because you are worth it. So that Elena can have the longest good weeks and bad weeks ever. Because you are worth it. So Zion can be the common sense grounding and foundation of this group. Because you are worth it.
I really think.
I think it's Garcia.
Were you trying to say I have a common sense?
No, you do, but sometimes you don't exude it as much as never mind. Let's not go there.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you don't have common sense from the first store.
So, okay. But anyway, getting off track. But at the end of the day, all jokes and everything aside, everything comes down to that. God's relationship with you, the fact that you're able to have a relationship with Him, the fact that He wants to have a relationship with you, the fact that you have a destiny, the fact that you have a purpose, the fact that you're able to go through and do everything that you're able to do in your life comes down to the fact that you are worth it. Because He said you are worth it. Whether it comes down to creation,